Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Today is going to be an attacking tutorial. I'm not an amazing player, guys, but I just want to give like my train of thought on how I attack, because I know that some people, when they watch the streams, they always wonder like why I utilize the dribbling or why I utilize certain skill moves the way I do in certain situations, right? So as we review the goals or the build-up before the actual goals, I just want to show you guys what my thought process is in regards to approaching the game, right? So gonna go ahead and go into the first game right here. So a big thing that I like to utilize when I'm playing FIFA is the L1 R1 button. So basically, if you press R1 or L1 and let's just say for instance in this situation right here, right? I see my player making a run. If I want him to stop making the run and come close to me, I can do this and spam R1, right? Because it'll basically register in that general area of where I want my person to or it'll register in that general area of who's making the run and who's not making the run to come close or to go even farther, right? But in this situation right here, I want to show you guys what I end up doing, right? So this I call the little dribble, right? This is simple left stick dribbling, right? This is just boom, boom. The reason why you do that is because in that situation before he makes a tackle, he thinks that I'm going to overcommit into the middle, right? Which I end up not doing. It's not something that I prefer to do, because if I did, he would have intercepted the ball. You can see his striker is out in the opening. He would go on a counterattack and score against me easily, right? So you got to be very, very careful about these types of situations. So we do a little quick dribble. We have all this space to work with now. In this situation right here, you could see that my player on the side has kind of overcommitted his run, right? And obviously when he overcommits his run, he will come back, right? But you'll notice that the way he comes back when I press R1 is different than when he would, because if he comes back normally, he's just going to come back normally like all nonchalant and just try to get onside, right? But if you tell him to press, if you press R1 to tell him to come close, he'll come faster to be onside, right? So at this point, I'm already pressing R1, and you could see that he instantly turns and comes back into the play, right? And pressing R1 is perfect in this situation, because once I made this pass, the command is essentially canceled from this person, because I was doing it with this guy. I just wanted to cancel that run with him so that he comes close to me. And now look at all this space I have to work with an attacking player here and a fullback down here, right? So now we're transitioning upwards here, right? Over here in this situation, you could see that I could overcommit this little pass right here in the middle, right? The thing about this is that when you see your player making a run here, you always want to try to catch him onside, right? You want to wait for the transitioning run, because if I made this pass, he's not necessarily in line with the onside. It's always best to attack when they're in line on the onside. So what my train of thought is, right, is that if I pass this ball into the middle, you can see that I don't try to dribble that first time. I do a first time pass there. When I do that, it creates space for me, right? Because what now happens is that his defender in the middle is going to have to occupy the attacker that's now approaching him, right? And when that happens, the attacking AI is different this year, because the attacking AI for me personally is way better, because once I get into this position right here, right, I can just do an instant pass over, and now he has to deal with me one-on-one. So this is where the manual defending comes into play, and so on and so forth, right? He thinks that once I take this initial touch upwards over here, which hopefully this is gonna fix right here. He thinks that once I take this initial touch upwards right there, he thinks I'm gonna commit to a shot. So what I do simply is just nice little left stick dribbling, just little stop, turn inside, right? Because I want to stop the ball in place. A little flick even will stop the ball in place, and then turn downwards, and then a nice little finesse shot to score the opportunity. So very, very decent build-up play there. This annoyed me because of the right stick switching being bad, but we'll just look into the rest of the attacking opportunities here. Okay, so right here, right, you can see that the way he's committing towards me. So at this point, here's a train of thought for this, right? So I see that his players are all over the place, right? There's so much space to work with in the middle. So I do a first time pass while holding L1. And at this point, you don't have to overcommit the pass. I don't have to make a pass right away, because if I make a pass right away, he still has to deal with the other defender. And if I have to control one of my passes, I have to settle the ball. And when you settle the ball, it's easier for the opposition to get the ball off of you, right? So in this situation right here, he overcommits to the left, which I notice he does. I do a fake shot to gain more momentum on the ball. And you could see right here that I pass the ball instantly to Niang. Maybe I could have waited a little bit, right? Because the whole situation is trying to pass the ball when they're exactly onside, right? But not necessarily a big deal. We get into this situation right here. This is why I changed my tactics, right? Because this is the 4-2-3-1 wide, and you can see these tactics right now are not good. Look at the way that the players are spread out. Pointless, 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 right? Paulinho pushing forward is very nice. Cam unbalanced, striker unbalanced, but with the left cam and the right cam, they're not left mids and right mids, because if this is a cam, right, he'll occupy this spot right here while going inside instead of occupying a left mid position that I don't need because I'm not going to cross the ball. I'm going to be a more attacking oriented person, right? So I have to kind of compensate, right? And this is where your tactics are very important to your playstyle. At this point right here, I do a ball roll touch. I do it because there's absolutely nothing happening over here, right? So I have to figure out what I want to do in this situation. Over here, I'm just dribbling slowly, waiting for something to happen. Renato Sanchez ends up making this little transitioning run over here in the middle. We do a nice little triangle pass. First time shots, because if I settle this, if I settle this ball, I'm probably not going to score it. So I do a first time shot, end up scoring it. We win that game 2-1. So pretty good result in that regard. Okay, so let's go see this one right here. So again, still using the 4-2-3-1 wide. This is a wide variation. You can see that the players are very wide. They're not narrow yet. Okay, so little passing plays. Very lucky there. Responsiveness issue right there. Okay, so this is probably where the attacking play really starts, okay? So you can see that the way that my team is currently set up, again, don't like the way it's set up, right? This is why I had to change it. But you can see that it's a left mid, striker, cam, and right attacking mid that's basically in a line, right? But there's nothing going on over here. That's why the CDM unbalanced for instructions is very nice, because it gives you more leeway to attacking, right? So this situation right here, the players in your attacking lineup start to transition backwards to give you more space to pass the ball off to them, right? So you can see that I dribble first so that he doesn't, because the interceptions in this game, they're possession-based interceptions. What that means is basically like when they intercept it, they just receive possession of the ball and they can transition forward, right? So he can go on an easy counterattack, whatever it is, right? So with Cornet over here, I do a first-time pass. I do a bit of dribbling here, right? Just a bit of dribbling just to see where my opponent is going to read, but I see the transitioning runs. The transitioning runs with strikers and cams, you always have to look for. You need to see if he's transitioning upwards or downwards, right? So the first run you'll see at this moment right here, right? So we don't pass the ball right here because that's an easy interception for his player. We dribble a little bit more to create more space. That's when we pass the ball, right? You can see that this guy's already making that transitioning run, right? So what I do is I dribble in the direction where my opponent is facing so that I can get a little bit more space in the upwards angle or the downwards angle. Because you can see that once that person makes a run on the bottom too, he's already making a run as well. But if I pass him the ball, there's going to be less of a situation for me to score, right? So I get that little angle. He's not committing over to me, right? I do a nice little wide pass, touch, just instant shot, right? Akone is a left-footed player. Instantly shooting with him in this situation is the most ideal position. He settled the ball already. Just take the shot and score the opportunity, right? Let's see what we got in this situation here. Okay, so again, left mid, right mid, this is not yet changed to the two cams, but you can see that what I'm looking for here in this situation is I have to settle this ball somehow, right? I have to wait for this person over here to make a run, and if his run doesn't end up being good, I'm not going to overcommit because there's no point, right? So in this situation right here, we touch the ball. I do a nice little scoop turn because a scoop turn takes me away from the defender. This guy starts making the run. It has all this opening space over here, so that's what I want to work with. He sees that obviously too late because he overcommits one of his center backs. So what we do here is a nice little triangle pass, through ball pass here, right? Touch the ball. Big thing here. Small little dabber of a touch and then finish, right? The small little dabber of a touch to go upwards and then shoot it around the goalkeeper is what's going to help you score more opportunities in this game, right? Taking that extra touch and working that angle, right? Akone is left-footed, I believe, so that's why it was easier for him to score. He has a 4-star, but for a cheap card, he's not necessarily too bad. This is a penalty from me trying to clear the ball. So the thing that I like to utilize a lot in attacking, right, is the ball roll touch. I do the ball roll touch to see how my opponent is going to defend against me, right? So in this situation right here, once I touch the ball right here, I do a ball roll touch and I want to see how how he's going to defend against me. You can see that he's overcommitting, right? You can see that this guy right here, he's overcommitting this area over here. He's already doing it way too much. He thinks I'm going to overcommit to the side or whatever it is. So he thinks that committing to the downwards angle is the most ideal situation. Look at how he's committing towards me, right? He commits me towards me like that. I now have space to work with in the middle. Again, I don't like the way that the team is set up for this, but it's what you have to work with given the situation, right? So you can see right here at this situation, this guy is being occupied, right? Over here. That's what this guy is looking at. But he's defending well because he's trying to cover both of the angles of the attacker over here and the attacker over here. So the reason why I choose upwards is because that angle just makes the most sense, because the way that he was defending, he gave me more space for that side. He starts committing his goalkeeper a little bit here because he wants to close the angle against me as much as possible, because he knows that this is a very deadly goal scoring opportunity. This is when you got to be calm, right? You notice that even if you don't do a 1-2 passing play, your player starts making very good attacking AI runs. And that's why, like, understanding what tactics works the best for you is very, very important, right? I don't do a 1-2 pass, but my player starts occupying the space that's open, right? So I notice that, pass the ball off to him, score the opportunity, right? People always say, why don't you just shoot the ball sometimes when I'm in a goal scoring opportunity? When you play FIFA, it's usually better to try to work that extra angle for you to score a proper finish, right? Because those extra little angles that you work for is going to help you score more opportunities, right? This is just the body feint. Body feint's very effective to get past opponents, right? You can see that I just do a regular angled body feint forward, right? So you'll see it right about here, right? Nice little heel to heel dribble, but then angled body feint forward. The way to do that is you basically, in this situation, like the way that my body angle is facing in that situation is I flicked this way and then exit that way, right? Because I want to push the ball forward and then accelerate afterwards with our trigger, right? This situation right here, I'm wasting time, right? Nothing is happening in this situation, right? Wasting time trying to see if my midfielders transition backwards so I can transition back into the middle. So you see that at some point, nothing is going on in the middle, so I have to transition back to my fullbacks, into the middle, back to the middle again, and then this is what I look for, right? I transition always to the sides and then back to the middle. Sides, back to the middle. Sides, back to the middle, right? And I want to see when he creates that opening space in the middle for me, right? So in this situation, we're using the fullback. He starts committing with this guy right here, right? So the space that you want to utilize is getting the ball to the striker, because once you get the ball to the striker, the attacking AI will make certain runs for you, right? So that's the space that I want to try to work with here. He's already overcommitted in this situation. He starts to do offside trap. I noticed that he was doing that earlier in the game, so I do a first time pass. Do a first time pass, you know, really, really close to the goalkeeper in this situation. So the only logical thing right here is to lay it off, shoot it across goal, and score the opportunity. Sweating it is a higher percentage of scoring the opportunity, so it's kind of worth doing, right? Let's see another situation right here. So utilizing the sides, back to transitioning into the middle. You see, this is why I didn't like these tactics, right? So you see how these players over here, and I even mentioned in the video as well, and this is the stuff you have to notice for you to adjust your play style, right? Is once I get into this position right here, notice how when I go backwards, this is not my play style, right? Look at how they're positioned. Look at how the players are overcommitting for no reason, right? It wasn't a personal preference of mine. See, he's making runs. Like, why would I make that pass in that situation, right? This isn't because of the attacking AI in FIFA. It's because of the tactics that I have set up for my team, and it just didn't make sense, right, with the player quality and whatever. So again, transition back into the middle, looking for the space in the middle. I want to see when he creates a little bit of a gap for me. If he creates that gap in the middle right here, that's the area that I want to exploit the most as possible, right? So first time pass. Could I overcommit a nice little pass right here? I could, but remember, interceptions are possession-based interceptions. So if he gets his ball here, he can go on easy counterattack. So I just dribble the ball. I notice the space with my striker. I pass the ball instantly to him, right? I dribble upwards and I do a fake shot downwards. Always try to read how your opponent is defending, because in this situation right here, I don't overcommit after I do that fake shot. You'll see that I instantly dribble backwards, so I get my body ahead of the ball and then dribble instantly on the inside to get that angle, because you see that he overcommits to me because he thinks that once I do that fake shot, I'll take a shot, I'll commit in that general area. But going backwards and then transitioning back inside when he overcommits is the ideal situation. So at this point, I just shoot across goal, score the opportunity. And we're looking pretty good. So that's some of the goal scoring opportunities that I have been using. If you guys want to see more of these types of videos, like what my thought process is for you know, trying to score in FIFA, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll be sure to post more of these types of videos in the future. But that's it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.